You're listening to the Daily Nugget. It's dnugget.com for Thursday, April 19th. Hey, we're back again. I have a good excuse for the reason that we had a little time away.
Andy spawned.
A child. Yes, I have, so to speak. There was a being brought into this world by my wife. Can I just say that when people say, especially guys say, we're having a baby, that is the biggest lie in the world. I never, any time in the pregnancy said that, I would always say, my wife is having a baby. Now, I may have started the process, but there's not much I do after that.
I know, right?
Well, until the baby's out, then you're doing plenty.
And I don't think it's fair for me to say, we're having a baby, because she's really having a baby. I'm just there for moral support.
What about saying we're expecting?
Well, I'm expecting a lot of things. I don't know if that,
You really can't take credit for anything, Andy.
No. Like I said, I started it, and that's about it. So, anyway.
End of story.
So, Ezra Charles Edward Yuso was born about a week ago. And a week and a half ago, actually.
Good job.
And now I'm finally recovered enough on sleep to be able to do another Daily Nugget. So here we are. Tech Thursday. And as I think about my kids, well, I have a 5-year-old as well, this is sad that I don't think they'll ever be able to experience the joy of going to the old computer lab in elementary school with the super huge monitors and the clunky Apple keyboards that were like the size of a computer itself, that had the huge plastic keys, and playing... and it was a special day that you got to play Oregon Trail, and you got to play it. And I don't think I've ever beaten the game, even to this day, because you can play it like online now and like on Facebook. I still don't think I've actually beaten the game because
it's still pretty hard.
Yeah, because you always die of those dumb diseases.
It's true.
It's like, how did anyone actually get to Oregon?
I don't think they ever did.
And then why are hippies so wimpy? Because, those are the people that live in Oregon now. I mean, they made it and survived all these diseases. Why are they such weenies that don't eat anything?
And all they want to do is pack their dogs down the street.
Maybe they were cannibals and just ate the leftovers.
Doesn't make any sense. Oh, by the way, I should probably introduce our crack team of Daily Nugget contributors. I'm Andy. Sam is with me, and also Janelle.
Hello.
So, there you go. And Janelle, did you have much experience playing the Oregon Trail?
Yeah, well, me in video games. We don't get along, so...
This is kind of like universal. This is up there with Tetris when it comes to things that just about anyone has played in their lifetime. You've never played, anything?
Well, yeah, I did, but again, I remind you, me and Tetris, we don't get along. I'm just not a video gamer. I'm sorry, I've epically failed you, but that is true.
It's okay. Well, so this is Kotaku.com was talking about the diseases that came from the game that you'd always die from, especially like dysentery. You died from
I always died of dysentery.
Oh, come on, stupid dysentery. This is great, because it's kind of a where are they now? Interesting things from when people colonized America, and now that we are years and years away from that. Cholera, one of the big ones. As a matter of fact, it was the #1 killer on the actual Oregon Trail.
Yes.
According to the Center of Disease Control, cholera remains a global pandemic. There's still no vaccine for the disease, but because of our, us having good sanitation in America, not really a big deal. Although there have been outbreaks in places like Congo in July, Haiti during the earthquake, Pakistan, and in Zimbabwe a few different times in the last few years. So it still happens. But
it's almost unheard of. I mean,
yeah. So it's mostly in developing countries.
Yeah, it looks like it's caused by ingesting the bacteria Vibrio cholerae.
Usually that's when you don't have safe water. Those are those horrible things that you drink.
Probably should have just said that.
Yeah. Okay, so cholera still around. Surprising, right? What about diphtheria? That's an airborne bacterial disease. And routine childhood immunizations in America have erased it in the U.S., just about. Less than 5 cases a year. Can you imagine? I bet there was like some episode of House, though, where they had diphtheria,
And there's probably...
Well, here's the thing. In House, you have to almost die before you can get saved. So
It's true.
A combination of
And it's never lupus.
It's true. Never
yes.
lupus.
I was like, maybe it's lupus. No, it's not lupus.
It's never lupus.
Okay, so dysentery. Dysentery, now that was kind of like the one for whatever reason seemed like it was the one that you died of the most. Apparently, though, it wasn't like the biggest problem when people were settling going down the Oregon Trail. As a matter of fact, dysentery was probably transmitted mostly due to infected warm cow's milk.
Yum.
Warm cow's milk. Now, can I just say I'm glad that I live in an era where I don't ever have to drink warm milk. I don't think I could do it.
Oh.
I know that like it's supposed to be a remedy to help you sleep or something.
Yes.
Yuck.
But at the same time, Andy, you really only like skim milk. And
That's not true. I've changed.
oh, really?
I drink 2% now. You know what? I decided life's too short. Life is too short to drink skim milk.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the rich life, Andy.
I said, in the words of Janelle, foot with it. I said, you know what? I'm going to drink my 2% milk. I'm not going to drink milk that tastes like it's half water anymore. It's wonderful. I can't ever go back. It makes my cereal taste luxurious.
Yuck.
Look what you've been missing all these years.
Oh.
You know, Bart, a regular contributor to the Daily Nugget, tells a story about how when he used to go to his grandparents' house, and his grandpa would buy him like the sugary cereal and then pour half and half on it.
That's just gross.
Yeah, that sounds so disgusting.
My friend told me about this, and I think he didn't think I'd actually do it. But he said if you want to have the most sugar, you get Cocoa Pebbles, which is one of the best cereals of all time, and you put Oreos at the bottom of it.
Oh, man.
And then you use chocolate milk.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my.
I have done this.
Dude.
And it is the most fantastic thing ever. If I ever find myself on death row and they ask for a final meal, I will say that is what I want.
Oh, perfect.
Because that is the most fantastic thing ever. And it will probably kill you, so as long as you're about to die, you might as well go out in style.
Yeah, might as well go out happy.
So that's why I don't like warm milk. Okay, so dysentery. Warm milk. That's how it was transmitted. There's no disease. It's still a major threat to the developing world. 80 million people worldwide get it annually. 80 million people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. Dysentery. Who knew?
I didn't.
Okay, measles, right?
Yep.
Measles, vaccine. We vaccinated, like, it's the first vaccine you get now when you're a kid.
Exactly.
The
MMR.
MMR, that's what it is.
Before you can even remember. Yeah.
Yep. Apparently, still around in some places, though. In 2009, there was an outbreak in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Oh, watch out.
Which Janelle and I have been to in the last year.
Yes, and have measles, do you?
Uh-oh. Well, we had our shots, so...
Yeah.
And then finally, there was the typhoid fever.
Typhoid fever.
And we've had a shot for that.
Unfamiliar with the virtues of boiling water first, Oregon Trail pioneer just contracted typhoid like many other diseases from contaminated water. Delicious disease-infested water.
Apparently, in the warmer months, it was a killer. Still a killer, once again, in the developing countries, not in the Western world. It's preventable with good sanitation and antibiotics, but Westerns are not immune when traveling in developing countries, and that is why, one of the many reasons why when you're in another country, you shouldn't drink the water.
Well, then what do you drink?
Industrialized water. Well, you just get bottles of water. Now, me being able to say I've been in my share of countries where you're not supposed to drink the water, you just make sure that you get bottled water. Although a few years ago when I went, I was much better about this in Swaziland, Africa. But a few years ago when I went on a missions trip to the Dominican Republic, like, you weren't supposed to drink the water. But for whatever reason, the one time I would always mess that up is when I was brushing my teeth. Because you're so used, I didn't drink the water necessarily, but you're so used to just running your toothbrush over the tap that I would do it. And every time I go, dang it! Every time! I didn't get sick from that because, of course, it was a very small amount. You usually just spit it out. But every time I would just, yell at myself.
Sure didn't gargle it or anything?
I probably freaked out my roommate. Like, what is he saying? What is he doing in the bathroom?
I don't think you could have freaked your roommate out. He was
probably thought you were schizo.
He was in his own little world. Who knew about him?
Anyway, so don't drink the water, kids, when you go, or you could be handling your very own. Apparently, they should make some new version of Oregon Trail that is just called Developing Nation Trail, where
Developing Nation.
Maybe they should have just called it Death by Wagon or something like that.
Death by Wagon. Yeah. You could always just rely on that. You could still experience that if you want to. Go to some other developing country and just take a wagon, and you'll probably just experience what you did in real life.
So, I'm reading here about dysentery. It says, unlike cholera, dysentery lived in the colon and caused bloody, loose excrement.
Oh, watch out.
I just wanted to say that because there was a real lack of the ridiculous.
Yeah, there wasn't much language that made Janelle freak out. So
yes, we're used to getting Janelle to do that. No!
You want to react that way? Because I can.
Although
that was my best Janelle impression.
I know Janelle does like the word intestines.
I don't really.
And that's
I like bowels better.
That's what cholera does. It would infect the intestines. Yeah. And would flood the intestines with excess water.
Would it make your intestines explode? Because that's what I would be afraid of.
Intestines.
That's gross.
So
I
got a question.
Yes.
Do any of these cause chafing?
I believe that is now a first world problem.
Yeah.
I want a solution
to the Western world.
If now I was going to take my own Oregon Trail, that's what I would die of.
You have died from chafing.
You have died of chafing. I feel like we need to come up with some sort of chafing awareness campaign.
We should.
Some kind of antidote for Oregon Trail, because you're going to get sick no matter what you do.
I vote that today, the 19th of April, should be National Chafing Awareness Day.
Yes.
And we should just hand out massive bottles
there.
Of tonic powder.
Maybe we should really go for the gold bond.
The gold bond?
The gold bond. Hey, maybe they'd be willing to give us a sponsorship or something. I wouldn't be against it. No, I've never actually used it because every time I see the Gold Bond medicated powder commercials, it's old people. And I'm pretty sure a byproduct of taking it is oldness. That's one of the side effects. Side effects include oldness. You just don't want that.
You automatically turn into that old guy with Jim Dobson glasses, short shorts, and a white tube socks up to your knees with sandals.
Yeah, let me just say that calling it Gold Bond just doesn't sound good. I don't know why. It just doesn't. It doesn't do it for me. So
the word bond in any sort of, medicated powder that's going on my skin kind of makes me feel a little bit uneasy about putting it, in the chafage areas.
The chafage. It's horrible. The worst thing is when you're chafing, and this always happens. You go to the amusement park. And you go on the one water ride. You got your jeans on, and for the rest of the day, you got to walk like you're on a saddle.
Yeah.
You got to waddle. It's the worst.
Story time. We were at Sunshine one year, music festival, and one guy was like almost crying that he had so much chafage in between his legs.
Oh, you can rub your legs raw.
And like he's just like, dude, I don't know what to do. And he wasn't like a huge guy or anything. He was just a little bit bigger, but he had just a little bit of chafing. And we had another guy with us who was like, oh, my dad's a doctor, I know everything. And he's like, well, dude, you got to clean it out. Maybe you should try the hand sanitizer in the porta potty.
Oh no!
So he goes in.
Ow!
He's like, okay. Hand sanitizer is made of
alcohol.
Alcohol,
yes.
Essentially. So he decided to pour straight alcohol into a very large open wound. So he gets in there, and minutes later we hear, why did I do this? But, like 3 hours later, he's like, oh, that hurt so bad, but the chafing is gone.
Probably because his legs were numb.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. And that's the Daily Nugget. If you have any comments about what you heard today, maybe sharing what disease you always died from the Oregon Trail, or your best chafing story, let us know. nuggethatemail@gmail.com.
Delicious.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow.